What if Martin didn't stand up? What if Rosa didn't sit down? What if Malcolm didn't matter? Where would we be now? What if Molly didn't get up, stand up? What if Du Bois didn't come to advance us? And Mandela didn't come to teach us? Where would we be now? We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. We can change the world with our love, 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 love. 'Cause it is up to us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. Our love can change the world. We can change the world with our love, 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 love. Our love can change the world. What if Maya didn't speak out?
Good afternoon and welcome to Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio, where we're all about the kids. I am Pamela Hornsby Irvin, author, educator, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker. I will be your host for the next hour. So listeners, now is your time to grab a pen, paper, or a pencil so that you can write down information I am so sure that you can use. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my guest for today, Leah Lee Burnett. Hey, Leah, how's it going?
Hi, Miss Pam. It's going great. How are you?
I'm super. I'm great. No complaints here. So, Leah, we're just going to jump right in. And why don't you tell our listeners something about you?
Sure. So, again, my name is Leah Lee Burnett. I am a mother of two amazing children. I have a daughter that is currently loving basketball, and my son is loving wrestling, so they keep me super, super busy. I am the director of Early Learning Readiness and Beginning Babies with Books with the Gateway Region YMCA. I currently sit on the board of the St. Louis Black Authors of Children's Literature, and that is an amazing experience for me as well. And with my day job, I just love providing books in the community and holistically empowering families to make the right decision when it comes to early learning and, again, just holistically affecting everyone in the family. So that is just a little bit about me for now.
That is awesome because we have some similarities there because I'm all about empowering the parents and caregivers of children, and I'm all about early learning, bringing awareness to how critical and crucial early learning is for our children. So this is what you do at the YMCA. You are the director of early learning. And
yes.
We've spoken previously, and you have a program for parents and their children. So the topic of the session today is the importance of playful interactions with your kids' parents. And I'm just gonna, before, I let Leah explain to you what it is that she does in the program, I just want to bring in a little bit of research because I always impart some research in the show. It says that children need to play with their parents in order to gain certain social skills that will benefit them in the future. So, Leah, do you agree with that? With the research, why or why not?
Ms. Sam, I absolutely agree. I know for certain that children playing with their parents, it teaches them how to problem solve. It teaches them how to use their imagination um, to act out certain situations. Um, just interacting with their parents alone gives them a sense of self confidence that a lot of our children tend to lack because they're not getting that extra one on one time with their parent without so much structure. Now, I'm not saying to just allow them to to go crazy during play, but give them options. Let them choose which game you're playing. Let them choose if they want to go with the standard rules, or are we going to make new rules today that we'll both follow? So I definitely agree that it helps with social skills.
Two things that I took away from what you just mentioned, and the first one is imitating what the parents and the child, their playful interactions. They actually imitate that, like you said, they role play. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, that's one of the reasons why we have areas, different areas in the classroom. One of the areas in the classroom is dramatic play, and it's predominantly a house area most of the time, a kitchen area most of the time, but then we change it up. And if you could hear some of the conversations that the children are having in the dramatic play area, I mean, it cracks you up because
Yeah.
it's like that they got that from a grown up. They got that from a grown up, and it's hilarious
Yes.
most of the time, And I must admit, however, there have been times when I've heard some disturbing things because they're
Yes.
imitating
Yes.
what's going on in their surroundings and the interaction with their parents. But it's definitely a very vital aspect uh, of a child's early development. And the second thing was you said you could let them make the rules up if they
Yes.
want to keep the rules as they traditionally are, or if they would like to modify the rules of the game or whatever playful interaction that they're having at the time. And that takes aim at their value and their worth, them knowing and understanding that if I say something, it has value, it has worth because, a grown up listened, my parent listened to me.
Yes. Yes. And there are countless adults who are going throughout life as we speak without a sense of that value. And I would like to believe that it's because they were limited with the options they had as a child growing up. Children need options. They need to know that, one, someone believes in them to make a safe decision, and two, that they are independent and respected enough to make a decision. Again, we will not allow them to make decisions that might harm them or put them in a space that isn't considered necessarily safe for them, but it empowers them with self-confidence out the door. And we want our early learners to start kindergarten, start school with a sense of self-confidence. So I believe that, giving them a space or a day to choose what they're going to play, or a day to choose, which book we're going to read. Are we going to read it from the beginning to the end or the end to the beginning? Because we all love options.
Absolutely, we do. And one of the things, and going back to letting them select whatever it is that they would like to select, or just giving them the outlet to voice their opinion or have a choice. My kids, I teach 3 and 4 year olds, so they always have lots and lots to say. And so everybody, wanted to bombard me with what they had to say at the same time. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, what we're going to do is we're going to one person at a time. And so I'm like, okay, why don't you give them some time to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about, and then we can start our day. And that's what I do. I give every child 1 minute to talk about whatever they want to talk about. And that kind of takes away all at once, and everybody wants to say, they want to talk about the scrape on their knee, or, what they did over the weekend, or who they went with. So I'm like, okay, we've got to get some organization to this, because it's just like wah, wah, wah with everybody. So I like that, how playful interaction can afford kids just growth in knowing their self-worth and their value, that what they have to say is worthy of being listened to.
Yes. And how awesome is that you create a space for them to be seen and heard? You give them that 1 minute at the beginning of the day to say whatever it is they have to say. A lot of children, unfortunately, are in situations where they're forced to mute their voices. They can't really get things out that they need to get out. So I think it is amazing that you give them that space to be seen and heard. And I think that is so important in raising this next generation, in developing these little amazing children that we get to serve.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Leah, for that compliment. It's just, a lot of us tend to do what our parents did. And, it's just played out. It's just everything that our parents did and our grandparents did was not necessarily the right thing to do, because I was taught in growing up, children are to be seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
So you sit there, you don't say anything, and that kind of trickles down from generation to generation unless somebody decides to stop it. So, now that the radio show is here, we have a platform, we're discussing it, it's pretty safe to say that you need to kind of stop that. And it's just because your mom did it or your grandma did it or your grandpa did it doesn't make it right. And children are human beings just like, we are. They're little people, but they have a voice, they have an opinion, and they have thoughts that are worthy of consideration and being listened to.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Leah, what are your thoughts regarding the statement that kiddos playing with a parent in lieu of siblings or friends on the playground or the backyard or whatnot is critical to helping them construct a positive self-esteem and build their confidence? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think first of all, children appreciate and look forward to spending quality time with their parents. And so when and this goes back to what I said in the beginning, as far as giving options, it's important that our children know that they have options. One way isn't just the only way. You absolutely have options. And I know for sure that when a person knows deep inside that they have options, they handle certain situations differently. And I don't think that because, the people that we're talking about now, maybe 5 or under or 7 or under, I think that still applies to them as well. We build up their confidence when we give them options. And when children play with their parents, parents are hopefully, finding a mature kind of way to play with their child. They're not playing with their child as if their child is playing with someone else, another kid on the playground. They're really, although they're enjoying the time that they're spending together, they're being mindful of the just the characteristics they're displaying to their child. So hopefully parents are just partaking in a mature kind of way to play. And that, again, will help build their confidence. And then there's also a study that shows when parents are affectionately playing with their children, there's a bonding chemical that's released called oxytocin. And that chemical, allows the parent and the child to form this bond. And again, it goes back to affecting the whole family. So not only is this child feeling good because of all of these good chemicals that's being released in their body for playing with their parent, the parent in turn is feeling good as well just from playing with their child. And we all know that in the current state that parents are living in currently, we need some feel-good interaction. And what better way to find that than playing with your child?
I agree. Playing with the kids is like, it gives you a wonderful feeling, I play with my students and it gives me a wonderful feeling. They're not my babies, my birth babies, but they're my babies in the classroom. And when we're playing, we both are just having a good time, and we all are feeling good, because I'll ask them periodically. I'm like, hey, are you guys happy? Yeah. So it's like, okay, so it's just a great feeling. And I know, and because we're busy individuals, but please find time within all of your comings and goings and to take, 10, 15 minutes with your child and, engage in playful interaction. It doesn't have to be a long time, but if you just, sometime, if you just put aside some time to play with your, child or your children, it will be beneficial to the both of you, just everybody involved.
Yep.
So, Leah, we're going to talk a little bit about toddlers. Toddler is considered 12 to 36 months. And research said that they should have at least 30 minutes of adult-led activities and 60 minutes of free time choice to do whatever they want to do, going back to those options that you're speaking of. So you have a program that you have created at the YMCA for parents to come and play with their children. So let's hone in a little bit more on what the program is like, and how long is it, for the kids and the parents to play together.
Sure. And so I do want to say I did not create this program. I wish I did, because it is absolutely phenomenal. I'm the director of it now, but it's amazing because, again, the program really just focuses on learning through play and including the caregiver, parent, and the child. So the program typically runs for 2 hours. And we do like a center time where the facilitator will read a story to both the child and the caregiver. We'll sing a few songs, And then the rest of the time, the child is typically going throughout the room, playing with whatever they choose to. We have 13 developmental centers that we focus on, and the child is able to go throughout the center at any time and choose whatever it is that they want to play with. We try to create a constructivism environment, because we all know that children, as well as ourselves, we gain knowledge and purpose through experiences. So we really want the children and the parents to have different experiences at these 13 stations, just to understand that, you don't have to go to the Science Center or the Magic House to teach your child through play. You can set up something very simple at home, and I can almost guarantee you that if you do it right, if you give the child options, you can spend the entire day learning through play right at home. So we just really try to hone in on that, and just try and create experiences with the caregiver or parent and child.
So at any point, Leah, in the program, when you have them with you for the 2 hours, do you provide them with parenting tips that may help them to understand that, hey, you realize that your toddler is not supposed to be sedentary for more than 1 hour at a time? Do you know the importance of playful interaction, with your baby? Do you give them parenting tips?
Absolutely. We provide parenting tips at all of our sites, especially when we do parent workshops. But even with just the early learning readiness, we provide parenting tips, we provide parenting resources, and there is also on the back of each center sign at the 13 developmental stations, there is a description of which particular developmental skill this activity will enhance or help. So we don't walk hand in hand with the parent, but we're like an ally, we're like a friend. Whatever information you're looking for or you think you're lacking, we are there to help provide that. We are also there to empower you. So whatever it is that you are already doing, reading at least 15 minutes a day, taking care of yourself at least 5 minutes a day, and then of course the 10 minutes of play. We just empower that. We encourage it and we support it with this program. So I absolutely love everything about it.
Right. It sounds like you guys are just doing nothing but empowering the parents and elevating them, giving them what they need in order to give the child what the child needs, because that if you don't have it, you can't give it to your children. You can't give your child what you don't have. And I say it all the time that it takes a village. If our children are going to be successful in life and be healthy mentally and emotionally and physically, and we have to come together. We have to come together and utilize all the resources that are available to make this happen, because it is our responsibility to do so.
Yes.
And nobody is saying that, because one of my issues is, parents watching the reality shows and all, people cheating, being vulgar to one another, dragging each other down, and so on and so forth. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, if that's what you want to do. But here's where the issue comes in with me, and this is a personal one, and it comes from an educator's perspective, is just take some time to learn about early learning and child development. You have an entire human being in front of you that you're responsible for. And when something occurs that's unacceptable, you want to put them in timeout or spank them even or take their favorite thing away or not take them someplace. In all actuality, your focus is in the wrong place. You have to take time to focus on your child. This child didn't ask to be here. And, it is remiss of you as a parent or a caregiver of a child not to learn anything about early learning, early education, and just watch them just do whatever, while you're watching your reality show. So, that's a big issue with me is just, take the time out to focus on your child and to help your child along the way so that, they can grow up and, take wings and fly and so on and so forth. But while they're young, from birth to age 7, no later than age 7, they're who they're going to be. And you're putting them out into the world, right, Leah, to, either sink or swim or be a positive force in society. They could be a builder or they could be somebody who is destructive. So what are your thoughts?
I agree. I completely agree. I think that I think it's our responsibility I think we at least owe it to our children that we bring forth into this amazing life. I think we owe it to them to follow their growth and not just bring them forth and watch them grow. I think we need to follow their growth and know what they should be doing at each milestone and prepare them, like really prepare them for this life, for this world. There, as you mentioned earlier, there are resources available throughout the community to empower parents to make sure that their child is on the right track for early learning. And I think that we have to, as parents, we have to sacrifice and make that a priority of ours, not just to make sure that the baby goes to sleep on time and eat a nourishing meal. We need to take another step forward and make sure that we are playing with our child. We're reading to our child. We are, hugging and showing affection to our child. So I completely agree with you, Ms. Pam.
So, okay, with that being said, let's move on to incentives of some sort. Do you guys offer the parents any type of incentives when they show up for the program?
We do. And the incentives, they can vary. One of the incentives that we offer at workshops would be we provide books. We make sure, if nothing else, your child's library is in the process of filling up. We may not be able to completely fill the library, but we do our best to provide books to the community. And our goal is to make sure that we are providing books that represent the families that we serve. And that's really huge for me, for a child to see a protagonist that looks like them, or that looks like their mommy or daddy or granny or whoever is taking care of them. So we do that. And then depending on who we are collaborating with at the time, they may have incentives like gift cards or raffles for baskets. We do try and meet the needs of the parents that we serve. So it just depends on the situation as far as what that would look like.
And those books that you provide the children with that have protagonists that look like them. Um, that's very valuable in itself because, again, when you turn the pages, when a child turns a page and sees someone in there that's relatable, someone that has, their hair, their skin color, or whatever to that effect, it does make a difference. It makes them feel like they have value and they have worth. And that's so very important. That is so very important for children to open up a book or magazine and see that, because you know how you feel when you open up a magazine or Essence or Ebony and you see people that look like you. I mean, that makes you feel good. You might even say that person looks just like me, or that she's got her hair just like mine, or whatever the case may be. So that's very important. That's an important gift, not just a physical gift. It goes a lot deeper than that. So I think, these types of things should be pointed out, because I just think a lot of, parents and people in general just take all of that for granted, and they don't realize, just how impactful that is.
Yes. And it's important because we didn't have that opportunity years ago. It hasn't been that long that African Americans, we weren't seen and heard. In some cases, we're still fighting for that. So I think it is important for this next generation, since there are protagonists that looks like them, why not show it to them? Why not empower them and let them see that next level, so their imagination can soar? They're not just stuck at, I want to be a lawyer or a doctor. Now we have, children that are involved in STEM and engineering and taking on different aspects of literacy. They're involved in music and art. So as long as I'm in this position, I will always support protagonists that looks just like the families that we serve.
Because, it has been said that, children of color, don't really like to read. But it's not that. It's not that they don't like to read. It's just that, they hadn't had the opportunity to open up a book that was interesting for them. At some point you kind of get tired of looking at everybody else and, not seeing representation of yourself. So then what are you going to do? You're going to put the book to the side, or you're just not even going to want to read. Or you're going to think that all books are like that. So it's going to just, make you have a negative outlook in regards to reading altogether.
Right.
So parents, it's not that your baby doesn't like reading. It's you have to, find books that pique your child's interest. And they are out there. The books are out there. You just have to, go find them and listen to what your baby is telling you. Just observe your child. He or she will tell you everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
So now, is there a fee to be part of this program, Leah?
No, it's absolutely free. The program is free.
Well, I like
so
free.
There's no.
Everybody
yes,
likes
we
free,
all like
right?
free. Yes. And you get free books and incentives, so it's a win-win situation.
Wow, do you give them anything to eat? Because that's the icing on the cake.
Yes, we do provide
well, my goodness.
some type of snack. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
my
and
goodness.
It is a healthy snack, too. So we aren't just feeding your child anything. Your child is being fed with love. There is intention behind the snack that's provided.
Well, you can't beat that. You should have wall-to-wall, wall-to-wall parents and kids. It's free. They walk away with a book. They have healthy snacks. I mean, my goodness, what more do you want? Do you have a fun
Mm-mm.
time? So, you mentioned earlier that there were 13 of these type of programs available through the YMCA.
Well, no,
Um,
I was talking about there was 13 developmental centers inside the program.
okay,
So
so how many, because you did mention that this was in other YMCA's, right? This program that you have, or I just totally missed the boat altogether.
that's
Okay.
okay.
Bring it back. Take me back to the lab. So, is this program that you're offering for the children only at your particular YMCA?
No. So this program is being offered in a couple of different locations. We have one at the Car Square Community Center.
That's
It's
in
off
St.
of,
Louis, correct?
yes, it is in St. Louis. It's off of, I believe, 13th and Cass. It's downtown. I can pull up the address. So that one operates from 9 to 11, Monday through Thursday. And again, it's free. It's not, it's for, again, the parent and the caregiver. So you just go from 9 to 11 and you learn through play. And then on once a month, we have an integrated play date. It's like integrating both of my programs, early learning readiness and beginning babies with books. And that is at the Carondelet YMCA in South City. And it's also at Walbridge Elementary School, which is off of 70 and Union. And these are all in St. Louis. And then at the Emerson YMCA, which is in North County, off of 270 and West Florissant. These all operate at different times, so I'll leave my email address for anyone that's interested. But it's we try to make it to where it is all over the city of St. Louis, so we can accommodate pretty much anyone in the St. Louis vicinity.
So now these aren't offered out of state, just only in St. Louis.
Correct. These particular programs are just offered in St. Louis right now. We were in East St. Louis and Belleville, Illinois. We're working to see what's going to happen with those. But right now, these particular programs are being just offered in St. Louis.
You know what? This program is so great that I'm hoping, my wish would be for it to be in every city at a YMCA offered as, part of the programming everywhere. Kids everywhere, little ones everywhere need this.
Yes, I agree.
So
I agree.
my wish is that it will expand to the just outside of the St. Louis area to all over for the little ones because Leah, this is critical. This is, crucial. It's we don't have time. Our babies don't have time. It's I think people feel like, oh, it's time, it's my baby will have time, because my baby is a little person and so on and so forth. But it's a window, people,
yes.
parents, for the learning capacity. You can feed little people a lot right now at this moment, and they can comprehend it. They can actually consume it. It's when they start getting older that, the brain it doesn't absorb as much as quickly, I should say. So you have this window now to give them everything that you've got so that it will give them that strong foundation that they can build upon, because it's like a house. If you build a house on a weak foundation, it's going to sink. It's going to, fall off the foundation, or it's not going to be sturdy at the end of the day. So we have to give our kids that strong foundation while they are young, and not walk around with the idea that, oh, they're little, they don't understand this, oh, we can wait to give them that, because no, you cannot. No. It's early learning is so crucial, right?
It is very crucial. Yes, it's very crucial, and children want to be taught. They want to learn. They do not want to sit around and just, like you said, watch the reality shows with you. There's so much to be poured into a child between the ages of 0 and 5, and we'll go further and say 0 to 7. There's so much, and it's not enough to just read to them for 15 minutes a day. We have to go beyond that and find ways to involve them in, like I said, different forms of literacy, singing, dancing, using our imagination to create things. There is this book, I forgot who the author is, but it's called Harold and the Purple Crayon. And this little boy just really uses this purple crayon to create his world. And if we can start now teaching our children to use their imagination, that is a huge tool that adults are afraid to utilize now. So if we can teach them during the early learning stages how to use their imagination and feel free to use their imagination, I believe that we can really attack some of the issues at the core. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about situations where a child might act out at school. If you've empowered them with this imagination tool to either meditate or create this safe space that, no one can get into until we get home and we have this conversation, I think, again, we are providing our children with tools to function in this world that is sometimes difficult to get through. But at a young age, we can empower them with the necessary tools to make it.
Absolutely. And good parenting is hard work. It's not an easy task. It's hard work. But again, you have an entire human being that you're responsible for. So the hard work will pay off in the end. Sometimes we can't see it, but it definitely will, because the small things, it's the smallest things that make the biggest difference, that have the greatest impact most of the time. So the program, Leah, do you guys offer transportation for the parents?
We do not offer transportation. Some of our partners, depending on who it is and what type of commitment they have, they may provide transportation to a workshop, but the YMCA does not provide transportation.
Okay, and so this program, is it for low-income families only?
No.
Who is your target audience?
My target audience would be parents of children 0 to 5. All parents. It does not matter your income status. No. All parents.
Okay.
The income status does not have anything to do with it.
Okay. Well, great. So that widens the spectrum there. So there's no reason, parents, why it's not wall to wall, because they're offering some wonderful activities and information for free. It's free.
Yes.
And let me remind you about the healthy snacks. Who doesn't like a snack? Kids are
Yes,
all about snacks, and even big
yes, they
kids.
are.
I'm talking
Hmm.
about the grown-ups. Like snacks too, and they're free. Okay. So we've talked about how long the program lasts. Is it every what is it? Is it every week or
So the one
Monday?
at the Car Square Community Center, it's every day, Monday through Thursday, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And
Okay, okay.
then we have four other sites that have a condensed form of this program that's offered once a month. And that's only because I didn't have enough parents to just to keep the programs running. We have to have the parents and the kids there to justify us being there. So we're going to try this monthly um, combined or integrated play date and see how that works. But right now at Car Square Community Center downtown, it runs every day, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. And hey, if I get enough parents, it's like, I am interested in this program and I live in North County. Can we get a day program at the Emerson Y? If I get enough parents that's looking for this, we I have no problems with getting it open somewhere else during the day. And that's how I would really like for it to run. I would love to see this program operating throughout the city every day, Monday through Thursday, from 9 to 11, and the room is packed. I would love to
Then
see
we've
that.
got to make it happen. We have got
Yes,
to make it happen. We've got
yes,
to make it happen because it's an excellent program, and I will do what I can do to make that happen because
yes,
that is like an extracurricular. You need that. You have your kids are in school and all that. Right, that's correct.
yes.
But you also need that's an enrichment. That's
Mhm.
extra extracurricular enrichment program that you need. So
Yes.
we've got to definitely make that happen. Here's another thing that I wanted to mention before we got out of here today is that when parents, when you're playfully interacting with your child, it helps to develop fundamental movement skills, like
Mhm.
jumping and hopping and skipping and all. Do you agree with that, Leah?
Oh yes, yes. I definitely agree with that. It develops the fundamental movement skills, as you mentioned. It helps with the development of physical skills like reaching and crawling and grasping. Cognitive, as far as like what will happen if the ball if I throw it down the steps, or what will happen with the ball if we bounce it down the steps. So there are so many different developmental skills that are imparted into a child when you play with them. Language skills, just talking to them, or reading a book, or using your imagination to create a story or reenact a story or change the ending of a story, and then you add your own ending or act it out. Socially, you teach them to cooperate. You teach them how to take turns and follow the rules, negotiate. So I mean, it's
It
so
goes it
enriching.
goes on and on, doesn't it? It goes
Yes,
on and on and on.
yes,
And you would not understand that and you wouldn't have that knowledge. We wouldn't have that knowledge if we hadn't studied early childhood education and early childhood development. So that goes back to parents, take some time to learn about early childhood education and childhood development and all that. You know, it's a couple of things real quick. The first one is when we assess your child coming into preschool at 3 and 4 years of age, there's an assessment and it asks the child to hop, to skip, to jump. And some of them can, do it, and then some of them can't. But if you're playing with your child and you're hopping and you're skipping and you're jumping, when it comes time for that assessment, your child will be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, and those are important developmental milestones.
Yes.
So, what do you think the reason is for it being such a task, so hard for parents to get parents' attention when it comes to early childhood education and parenting tips and all that? Because I offer parenting tips now on my YouTube channel, Itsy Bitsy Bookworms, with the bookworm logo. So far there's 7. So I've been for the last 7 weeks offering parenting tips, and I get some views and all. But what do you think it is, Leah, that it's not, hundreds and of parents coming to receive the free parenting tips?
I think parents are busy. I think they're so busy with work and trying to provide for their family that they forget about the little things. They focus on making sure that the child is eating, has a bath, and ready for school the next day, or ready for daycare or wherever the child goes, instead of really taking a moment to letting the dishes stay in the sink for a minute, the clothes that's in the dryer stay in the dryer for a second, and just really sit down and focus on their child. I think they're just so busy. The mind is so busy. They have to make sure this is done and that's done, and they haven't taken the time to take care of themselves, to really understand that, okay, in order for me to really take care of my family and be this matriarch that a lot of women are being forced to become, I have to take care of myself. And even if it's just 5 minutes a day, of course we encourage more than just 5 minutes of self-love a day. But if you can squeeze in just 5 minutes of self-love for yourself, then you can, begin to open up your mind and realize that, oh, wait, I do have a little person here that requires more than just being fed and being clean and, their clothes are ironed for school the next day. I really need to dig deeper and see how they are developing socially and emotionally and physically. So I think it goes back to the parents taking a moment to take care of themselves, and they're realizing that there are resources like your YouTube channel and your Twitter page, or wherever it is that you are offering these amazing resources. They realize that, oh, everything I need to kind of pour into this little amazing human is here for me, and here are some tips. So I think it's kind of like it's a combo effect. It's a combo of things that keep parents away from your YouTube station. I don't think that consciously they are saying, I don't believe Miss Pam and I don't want to go to her station and watch it. I think that there are just other things going on in their lives that's keeping them away. But I implore you to keep doing it, because I know that the parents and caregivers that need your information and need to hear what you have to say, they will stumble across it just when they need it, like right at the perfect time, and you're gonna change the whole day for somebody. So I implore you to just keep putting those tips up there for the parents.
Well, thank you. And it's just like Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio. It specifically says where we're all about the kids. I'm here for you. I know it takes a village. We don't know it all as parents. We don't have all the answers. I'm an educator. I don't have all the answers. But, you have a village. I want you to know that you have a village.
Yes.
Listen to the radio show. I'm here for you to help you. The parenting tips. I'm an educator. I see the good, the bad, and the ugly with the little ones. And if there's anything that I could do to help change that, then that's what I'm going to do, because kids are my passion. And I can't help them if I don't help the parents. So it's a holistic approach. I'm there to help the parents and the caregivers. It could be the grandma, the grandpa, the dad, whomever is caring for the child. I just want them to know I am here. I'm here for you. The radio show, Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio, where we're all about the kids, and YouTube, Itsy Bitsy Bookworms, with the bookworm logo. Again, the parenting tips, because we want to make a change. We want to make a great positive change. Leah, time is running out on us, but I truly want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy day and away from your children to be a guest on Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio and share your resources that you have available for the parents and their little ones. Thank you so very much.
Well, thank you for having me, Miss Pam. This was such an amazing experience. I was a little nervous in the beginning, but I've heard somewhere before that when you are speaking about something you're passionate about, it tends to just flow. And I could have talked to you for hours, because I really love the work that you're doing and the impact that you are having on our little people that's our next generation coming up. You are, influencing our next president, So I'm grateful for your work and just to be connected to you in this space. So again, thank you so much for having me.
And likewise. I would like to give a big shout out and thank you to all of my listeners today. Tune in next week for information I'm sure that you can use. Parents, imagine with all of your mind, imagine with all of your mind, believe with all of your heart, achieve with all of your might, and make sure that you pass that along to your little ones. Make uplifting your children a part of your daily routine. They're so important, people. They are the future. We've got to nurture them. If you would like to be a guest on Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio, email me at itsybitsybookworms.2016@yahoo.com. Make sure that you tell a friend about Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio. I'm here every Sunday, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, 4 o'clock Eastern